Hello and welcome to The Film Whisperers, where two movie nerds talk all things movies with a contemporary lens. My name is Saj.
And my name is Matt.
All right, so we've been having a good chat about female directors and the work that they've done.
And hopefully we've also given our viewers at home some recommendations. If you kind of want to shake up the kind of male-dominated movies that you might consume on your streaming services or at home or in the movies, then...
And I think majority of the movies that we've spoken about have also had female leads. Majority, not all
That's
of them
true.
have, but yeah, so majority of them have. So yeah, again, adding to that diversity as well. So we've spoken about the good, the bad, and now I guess it's the weird bit of our show where we talk about the WTF.
Which is I think my favorite part about it, just on a side note, I feel like it's the best part of that's the part I enjoy talking about the most, the kind of weird stuff, because it's easy to talk about stuff you really like or stuff that you don't really like that much, but it's kind of fun getting to mention some ones that people maybe not have seen that are a bit different or weird or surprising. Yeah. So in terms of female directors, is there one that stands out for you?
Oh yeah, 100%. I would have to go with Sofia Coppola.
As a director?
As a director. So to be honest, I think having seen The Godfather, which was directed by her dad, Francis Ford Coppola, she's way better than any of the work that he's ever done.
Oh my God, you're going to get so many people.
That's okay. The Godfather is a piece of shit. So anyway, part one, part two, and in part three part three was a flop anyway, but still, anyway. I guess with Sofia Coppola, she, her movie directorial debut was this film called Virgin Suicides, which was really great, and then she got an Oscar nomination for Best Director with Lost in Translation, and then she kept going. My favorite film of hers has got to be Marie Antoinette.
That's actually one of the only ones I haven't seen, but
what I really liked about it is at the time, it was a very different way of telling a historical story where she used contemporary language and contemporary music, and she really, it was almost as if Kirsten Dunst was her muse. And if you watch Marie Antoinette, I really think Kirsten Dunst is absolutely amazing, and she's one of my favorite actresses because I think she's got a lot of talent. It's just she has gone under the radar for a while, but you see these things, you see these films, and you're reminded how good she is. But anyway. Most recently, Sofia also did The Beguiled.
I liked that one.
Yeah, exactly.
I did like that one.
So there's something about her filmmaking that I find really fascinating, and I think it's the way she just uses a camera, where a lot of the time it's little dialogue, but it's what's happening in the background that makes you quite enticed, and it kind of makes
atmosphere
the atmosphere. Yeah, it's almost. Have you heard of Wes Anderson?
Yeah.
So again, I'm not a fan of his. I think Sofia Coppola is better than Wes Anderson, but it's a sort of similar style where the story is told not through dialogue, it's the setting. And I just absolutely love that. Now obviously it's not everyone's cup of tea, but for me personally, I really like that style.
And was her last movie The Beguiled?
I believe so. So I think that's the last she's done, because usually she definitely puts her name on the poster, so it's a Sofia Coppola movie. But yeah, I believe I think that's the last one, because I don't believe she's done one.
Hopefully she's working on something else, because I feel like when there's a director you really like and they usually bring out pretty consistently good movies, you want them to keep working, you want them to keep bringing out stuff because you're looking forward to it. So hopefully she's working on something else.
Yeah, no, I hope so too. I guess just have to watch this space and see what really happens. But yeah, no, so that I'm just selecting her as a director rather than a film, because yes, I really like the work that she's done, and it's just a surprise. She's never done your blockbuster type movies. All of them are indie films. So yeah, to me that's my WTF. So over to you, Matt.
Okay, so our viewers who probably watched the last segment that we did would have heard me say that one of the films I didn't like very much was a film called Raw by a director whose name is Julie Ducournau. I think I'm pronouncing it the right way. But interestingly, my WTF movie is also from that same director, and it's a movie that she brought out last year called Titane. So at the Cannes Film Festival last year, this movie was in competition there. And obviously Cannes Film Festival is generally a very prestigious film festival, and usually the big award is the Palme d'Or, and usually the films that win that award are not safe choices, but they're usually what you'd consider like a typical award-winning movie, like dialogue heavy, emotional, dramatic, all that kind of stuff. So it was quite interesting last year when this movie, Titane, actually won the Palme d'Or, because everyone was like, this is not the kind of movie that normally wins that award.
Hang on, this is the film where the story is about the eroticism behind car accidents, yeah?
Kind of. So like it's about a few different things, but the basic setup, and I won't say more than this just because I don't want to spoil it for people who might want to watch it, but basically it's about a young woman who, when she was little, got into a car accident, and then we meet her again when she's older, and she basically has like a sexual attraction to cars. But that's kind of like doing it a disservice, because that's kind of just like the start of the movie. Like that's the springboard for the movie, but it's actually about like a lot of other things as well. And it's just very wild, and like a lot of things happen. But I found it so interesting. It's one of those movies, like a lot of the times these days when you go see a film, and maybe we're different because obviously we talk about movies a lot, but like to the everyday film goer, you might go see a movie and then there's not much to really talk about it afterwards. You're like, okay, we saw that, whatever. Whereas like it's quite exciting to see something that's like super thought-provoking, so that like after the credits start rolling, you want to talk about it. Like, oh, what did this mean? And where was that going? What do you think that meant? And for me, this was one of those movies. Like last year was probably the one that was the most thought-provoking for me. And yeah, it was just and it was WTF in the sense that it was surprising, but also because it's just wild. I will put a little kind of like, I guess, warning that like, it's not necessarily for the faint-hearted, in the sense that there's quite a lot of like, what I'd call like body horror in the movie, in the sense that there's a lot of kind of like full-on scenes, like visually, like a lot happens. There's some violence and things like that. But yeah, if you're interested in going in kind of blind and you want to see a movie that's just a bit different, it might make you think about different things, I would definitely recommend that one, because like it's just it's a roller coaster. Like it was, and it's really cool that the jury at Cannes Film Festival actually gave that the top award, because that was a big surprise to everyone, because that is not the kind of movie that normally wins those kinds of awards. So it's kind of cool that it's a female directed movie that got that, but also that the subject matter is so wild and different, and like, you know, so yeah.
So this was one of those films where I remember seeing the trailer thinking I need to watch this. So because usually, I'm going to be honest, Matt, some of the movies that you recommend, I go, I'm staying away from that. But no, I'm going to agree. This definitely looks really, really interesting. And also, just from the trailer, there was something that was quite strange about it. Now, I think in terms of my friends who've seen it, I think that there was only one person I remember writing a review on social media just saying, I don't know what I just watched, because it was a very, whoa, what was this? Have you spoken to other people and asked them for their opinion, and some people who've seen this film? Like, I'm just curious to know, what has been the general consensus from the people you socialize with?
I think like when I went with a group of people when we actually saw the movie, and like the opinion was very split. So like my partner, for example, didn't like the movie. Not just because he didn't really get what was going on or what it was supposed to mean, but also because it was so full on. Like, I think he didn't know what to expect. He went in blind, and then he saw it and he was like, what was this movie? Like, I have no idea what I saw, and also was quite confronting in certain parts. But in saying that, other people that were at the cinema at that same session were like, oh my God, that was so similar to me. Were like, wow, that was just so interesting and different. And I really found myself like, for me personally, even like days afterwards, still being like, oh, like I remember that scene and like what all that meant. Like, it's so interesting. So it's one of those ones where it's like you want to watch it again to kind of pick up on stuff you missed and like that kind of stuff. So I think it's a divisive movie in the sense that like part of the reason why I get the warning early is some people might watch it and be like, this is too confronting. There's some full-on stuff happening here. But yeah, if you're game, then I'd recommend giving it a go. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. So thanks for chatting with me as always, Saj, and thanks for watching The Film Whisperers at home. You've been watching Bent TV.